This video is about she entered the open market and a rich stranger bought her coffee. If this story touches your heart, please mention where you are watching from in the comments. Please like the video and share your thoughts in comments. The early morning sun poured over the cobblestone streets, dusting the vibrant open market with a golden hue. Stalls overflowed with fresh fruits, flowers, and handmade trinkets, filling the air with sweet and savory aromas. Mia adjusted the strap on her worn leather satchel, the weight of her responsibilities tugging at her like a persistent shadow. She had always loved the market. It was a tapestry of life, a place where the mundane transformed into moments of joy and connection. Today, however, the joy felt muted. She had spent the night wrestling with her thoughts, her mind swirling anxiously around the decisions she had to make about her future. "Just a small coffee," she murmured under her breath as she approached a charming little cafe stand. The scent of freshly brewed coffee wrapped around her, awakening a flicker of energy within her. She glanced at the menu board, her brow furrowing slightly as she contemplated the prices. Could she afford a latte today? "Good morning. What can I get you?" For the barista, a cheerful woman in her 30s with curly hair and a bright smile, greeted Mia warmly. Just a small black coffee, please," Mia replied, trying to mask her hesitation. She fished out a few coins from her pocket, her stomach tightening as she counted them. "Coming right up." The barista moved swiftly, pouring the rich brew. As Mia stood there, she couldn't help but gaze at the throngs of people around her, each lost in their own world. "Excuse me," a deep voice interrupted her thoughts. Mia turned and her breath caught. A man stood nearby, his presence commanding yet approachable. He was tall, with tousled dark hair and piercing green eyes that seemed to hold stories of adventure. He wore a tailored navy coat that hinted at his wealth, yet the slight crinkle at the corner of his mouth hinted at a playful spirit. "I couldn't help but overhear your order," he continued, his voice smooth like silk. "I believe it is my turn to buy you coffee." Mia's heart raced, caught off guard by his boldness. "Oh, you don't have to do that," she managed, her cheeks warming under his gaze. "But I want to," he insisted, a slight smirk playing on his lips. "I am Adrian, by the way." He extended his hand toward her, the gesture both warm and inviting. "Mia," she replied, shaking his hand, feeling a jolt of electricity at the contact. "Really, No arguments," Adrian interrupted as he turned to the barista. "I'll have a large latte, please, and whatever this lovely lady is having, on me." The barista raised an eyebrow but nodded, clearly entertained by the exchange. "Coming right up." Mia stood there, a mix of surprise and curiosity swelling within her. "You read quite confident, aren't you?" she asked, trying to mask her intrigue with a light-hearted tone. Adrian chuckled, a rich sound that sent a shiver down her spine. "Life is too short for hesitations, don't you think? Besides, who wouldn't want to buy coffee for a beautiful stranger?" Her heart fluttered, and she felt a rush of warmth at his compliment. "Flattery will get you everywhere, I suppose," she said, attempting to maintain a casual demeanor despite the way her pulse quickened. "Good to know," he replied, leaning in slightly, his gaze unwavering. "So, Mia, what brings you to this bustling market on such a fine morning?" She hesitated, her mind racing as she contemplated sharing her story. She had always been guarded, but something about Adrian's demeanor made her want to let him in. "Just looking for inspiration, I guess. I am a writer," she confessed, hoping to pique his interest. "A writer? Fascinating. What do you write?" "I mostly work on short stories. Lately, I've been trying to branch into something bigger, but I am struggling with motivation." "Writer's block," he mused. "I can empathize. Sometimes the best ideas come from the most unexpected places. Perhaps one of those ideas is standing right here," he said, gesturing toward himself with a playful grin. Mick couldn't help but laugh, the tension in her shoulders easing slightly. "Is that so? You must have had a captivating life story then." Adrian's expression shifted, a hint of seriousness threading through his playful demeanor. "I've had my share of adventures, but it's the quiet moments that often resonate the most. What about you? What do you hope to find out here?" May considered his question, her thoughts shifting to the uncertainty she felt. "I guess I am searching for clarity, maybe a spark to ignite my creativity, but..." She hesitated, her brow furrowing as doubt crept in. "I am not sure if I'll find it." Adrian tilted his head, studying her. "Sometimes clarity comes from unexpected conversations. Don't you think maybe I am just the distraction you need?" Before she could respond, the barista called out their orders, and Adrian stepped forward, retrieving the cups with a gracious smile. "Here you go. Now you owe me a story." Mia chuckled, taking her coffee from him, their fingers brushing for a fleeting moment that sent heat rushing through her. "I am not sure if my stories are worth your time," she replied, with a challenge in his eyes urged her on. "Try me," he said, his voice low and enticing. As they stepped away from the cafe stand, Mia's heart raced, a mixture of excitement and uncertainty swelling within her. She couldn't deny the chemistry that crackled between them, yet a nagging voice in her head warned her of the potential pitfalls. "What do you do, Adrian?" she asked, trying to keep the conversation flowing. "I am in finance, but I also invest in startups. I find it thrilling to watch ideas grow," he replied, his eyes sparkling with passion. "There is something about nurturing a project from concept to reality that excites me." "Sounds intense," Mia said, intrigued. "Do you ever worry about the risks?" "Every day," he admitted, his tone shifting slightly. "But risk is part of life, isn't it? If you play it safe all the time, you might miss out on something extraordinary." "Wise words," she replied, a soft smile tugging at her lips. "I suppose we could all use a little more bravery." "Yes, exactly," he said, taking a sip of his latte as they strolled through the market. "Tell me more about your writing. What do you want to write about?" Mia considered his question, pondering the stories that had been dancing in her mind. "I want to write about love, loss, and the moments in between, the messy, beautiful chaos of it all." "Ah, the chaos," he echoed, his expression softening. "That sounds like a challenge worth taking." "I think so," she said, a smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "But sometimes I wonder if I am just chasing shadows." "Chasing shadows can lead to brilliant discoveries," he replied, his gaze intense. "And perhaps, in the process, you may find something unexpected within yourself." Mia felt a flutter of hope mixed with curiosity. "And what if I get lost along the way?" Adrian stepped closer, their shoulders brushing gently. "Getting lost can be part of the adventure, Mia. It is often where we find the most remarkable things." As the sun climbed higher in the sky, casting a warm glow over them, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this encounter was the beginning of something significant. Yet a flicker of doubt lingered in the back of her mind. Could she afford to let someone like Adrian into her life? Would he understand the weight of her struggles, or would he see her as just another fleeting moment in his world of certainty? But as they shared laughter and stories, the hesitation began to fade. For the first time in a long while, Mia felt a spark of inspiration igniting within her, fueled by a man she barely knew yet felt inexplicably drawn to. As they wandered deeper into the market, the promise of new beginnings hung in the air, and Mia wondered if this was the moment she had been waiting for, the moment that could change everything. Mia took a deep breath, savoring the aroma of her coffee. The warmth seeped into her hands, a comforting contrast to the slight chill in the morning air. As she walked beside Adrian, she couldn't shake the feeling that the universe had conspired to bring them together in this moment. "So, Mia, you mentioned you rewriting about love," Adrian said, glancing sideways at her, his expression curious. "What is your take on it? The grand gestures or the subtle moments?" She pondered his question, feeling a rush of exhilaration as she met his gaze. "I think both have their place," she replied, weighing her words carefully. "But it is the little things, the shared laughter, the comforting presence that really resonate, don't you think?" Adrian nodded, his lips curving into an appreciative smile. "Absolutely, those moments are often more profound than the flashy declarations. That has about connection, isn't it?" His voice dipped lower, a hint of something deeper threading through his words. Mia felt a rush of warmth at his intensity. "Yes, connection," she echoed, her heart racing as his gaze lingered on her a moment too long. The air around them felt charged, and for a fleeting second she wondered if he could hear the thumping of her heart. "Tell me," he said, his tone shifting playfully, "have you ever been in love?" She hesitated, a wave of vulnerability washing over her. Those memories were bittersweet, laced with both joy and pain. "I've had my share of fleeting romances," she confessed, her voice softening. "But true love, it always felt just out of reach." "That is part of the adventure, right?" Adrian replied, a hint of mischief in his smile. "The chase can be just as exhilarating as the catch." Or equally frustrating, Mia counted her playful retort, surprising even herself. She felt a flicker of boldness, emboldened by the chemistry crackling between them. "Sometimes it feels like a never-ending quest for something unattainable." "Maybe you read just looking in the wrong places," he suggested, his green eyes sparkling with mischief. "Or maybe you need a new perspective." "A new perspective?" she asked, tilting her head slightly. "What do you suggest? The blind date with a millionaire at the market?" "You could do worse," Adrian replied, his tone lightening as he took another sip of his latte, the steam swirling around him. But perhaps instead of a millionaire, you need a little spontaneity, something to shake things up. Mia felt a rush of daring as she considered his words. Spontaneity, hot like what? Jumping on a random train and heading somewhere unknown? His eyes widened slightly, a mixture of excitement and approval swelling within their depths. Now that would be a story worth writing about. Just think of the characters you'd meet, the adventures waiting to unfold. She laughed, the sound bubbling up despite her reservations. You make it sound so easy, but you know how life is, it's complicated. Complicated is just a challenge waiting to be unraveled, he said, his voice earnest yet playful. Besides, don't you think that stepping out of your comfort zone could inspire your writing? Mia considered this, her mind racing through the possibilities. Maybe, she admitted reluctantly, but it's not just about the stories, it's about feeling lost sometimes. Adrian's expression softened, a hint of understanding reflected in his gaze. We all feel lost, he said, his voice dropping to a more intimate tone. It's the way we find ourselves that matters. Their eyes met, and for a heartbeat, the world around them faded away. Mia felt a pull towards him, a magnetic force that seemed to draw her closer. But just as quickly, the doubt crept back in, a reminder of her reality. You speak like you've figured it all out, she said, trying to keep the conversation light, even as her heart raced. What about you? Have you ever felt lost? Adrian paused, his gaze shifting away for a moment, the flicker of something deeper crossing his features. Sometimes, he admitted, his voice slow. But have you learned that getting lost can lead to unexpected paths, that as a part of growth? Mia studied him, intrigued by the hint of vulnerability that seemed to linger beneath his confident exterior. Your life sounds so calculated, she said, trying to gauge his response. He chuckled, the sound rich and warm, pulling her back to the moment. It may seem that way, but I promise, there is chaos behind the scenes. I just choose to embrace it. Embrace chaos, that is a bold philosophy, she said, a smile creeping onto her lips. I'll have to remember that when I am stuck in my own mess. Adrian stepped closer, their shoulders brushing again, and Mia felt the heat rise between them. Life is messy, Mia. It is unpredictable, and sometimes that is where the magic happens. Magic, how she teased, her heart fluttering in her chest. Now you're resounding like a character from one of my stories. Maybe I am, or maybe I am just a figment of your imagination, he shot back, his grin infectious, the playful banter flowing effortlessly between them. I could be the sorcerer who helps you discover your true potential. Mia couldn't help but laugh, the sound echoing through the market. As they wandered past colorful stalls, the atmosphere brimmed with laughter and chatter, and she felt as though they were in their own little world. Just then, they passed a stall filled with handcrafted jewelry, and an idea sparked in Mia's mind. What if I wrote a story about a writer who meets a rich stranger at a market, someone who challenges her perspective on life? Adrian raised an eyebrow, intrigued. And what happens next? Does she take the leap, or does she retreat to her safe corner? That is the question, isn't it? She mused, a grin spreading across her face. Maybe she gets lost in her own thoughts, unsure of what to do next. Or maybe she finds a way to embrace the chaos and create something beautiful, he countered, his expression earnest. You could write the ending however you choose. Mia felt a warmth spread through her at the thought of writing about the tension, the thrill, and the uncertainty that often accompany relationships. I like that idea, she said, her gaze lingering on him. Embracing chaos, it sounds freeing. Exactly, Adrian replied, his tone encouraging. You never know what magic you might find buried beneath the surface, like hidden treasures in a market. As they continued walking, Mia felt as if she were on the verge of discovering something profound. The connection they shared was undeniable, yet the fear of letting it blossom tugged at her heart. Adrian, she began, her voice wavering ever so slightly, I don't want to overthink this, but if... He cut her off gently, leaning slightly closer, the energy between them thickening. But what? What is on your mind? What if this is just a fleeting moment? She confessed, her heart racing at the vulnerability of her words. What if I let you in, and it all falls apart? His expression softened, a flicker of understanding dancing in his eyes. Mia, every relationship has its risks, but what is the alternative, living in fear of what might happen? She held his gaze, the weight of his words sinking in. I guess I am just afraid of getting hurt again. Adrian reached out, his fingers brushing against her arm, sending a rush of warmth through her. I understand that fear, but it is also what makes us human. Sometimes, it is worth taking that leap. Mia took a shaky breath, her pulse quickening as she searched his eyes for reassurance. You make it sound so easy. Nothing worth having ever is easy, he said softly, his voice dropping to a whisper. But I promise I won't let you fall without a safety net. The promise in his words wrapped around her like a warm embrace, and she felt her defenses begin to crumble. "Okay," she breathed, a hesitant smile appearing on her lips. "Let us see where this goes." Adrian's expression brightened, the excitement dancing in his eyes. "Now that's the spirit. Together we'll navigate this chaos." As they continued through the market, May couldn't shake the feeling that this moment was pivotal, a turning point in her life. The laughter, the flirtation, and the electric tension between them promised a world of possibilities. For the first time in a long while, she felt alive, ready to embrace whatever chaos awaited her on this unexpected journey with Adrian. And somewhere deep inside, she couldn't help but wonder if this was the spark she had been waiting for all along. As they ambled deeper into the market, the air around me felt charged with a blend of excitement and uncertainty. Each casual brush of Adrian's arm against her seemed to spark an electric current, sending her heart racing. "Okay, so if you were to write a story about me," Adrian began, his voice playful, "what would my character be like?" He leaned a little closer, his green eyes twinkling with mischief. Mia chuckled, momentarily lost in his gaze. "Though, I imagine you as this enigmatic stranger who sweeps into town, charming everyone with your wit and confidence. But," she continued, her tone turning serious, "there is a depth to you that intrigues me." "Depth, huh?" Adrian raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "A character with depth sounds enticing, but let us not forget the thrilling edge. He should have a few wild adventures up his sleeve." "It definitely," Mia said, her pulse quickening as she imagined Adrian as the protagonist. "He could be a risk-taker, someone who dives into experiences head first, possibly ignoring the consequences." "Sounds like a fun character to write about," he replied, a hint of challenge in his voice. "But what if I told you I am more than just a fun character? There is a story behind the confidence." Mia felt a surge of curiosity. "What is your story, then?" she asked, hoping to uncover the layers beneath his charming facade. Adrian paused, his expression turning thoughtful. "Well, I grew up in a small town, always dreaming of something bigger. My family struggled, and I made a promise to myself to create my own path." "So, you escaped to the city?" Mia inquired, her heart twitching at the vulnerability he was sharing. He nodded. "Yeah, but it wasn't easy. I had to work hard, double jobs, study late nights, but it taught me resilience, how to turn dreams into reality." There was a quiet intensity in Adrian's words that made me feel a connection deeper than mere attraction. "That is inspiring," she said, genuinely impressed. "I respect that dedication." "Thank you," he replied, his gaze lingering on her. "But enough about me. What about you? What drives your writing?" Mia hesitated, the weight of her insecurities creeping back in. "I write about love, loss, and finding oneself, but I often feel like I am still searching for my own story." "Can't he have a hero without a journey?" Adrian said, his tone lightening. "Maybe your journey is just beginning." His gaze turned serious again. "And maybe I can help you find your path." Mia's breath caught at the suggestion, her heart fluttering. "How do you plan to do that?" she teased, though part of her wondered if he meant it. "By being your spontaneous adventure," he replied, a glint of mischief in his eyes. "Let us shake things up. How about we explore the city together, just you and me?" Her heart raced at the thought of an adventure, but doubt crept back in. "What if it doesn't go as planned?" she asked, the apprehension evident in her voice. "Then we make new plans," he said confidently, his smile reassuring. "Life isn't about meticulous planning, it is about embracing the unexpected." Mia bit her lip, torn between her desire for spontaneity and her fear of the unknown. "Okay," she said finally, a nervous excitement bubbling within her. "Let us do it." Adrian's face lit up, the joy evident in his expression. "Fantastic. How about we grab something to eat first?" "Sure," she agreed, feeling a rush of warmth at the prospect of spending more time with him. As they made their way toward a nearby fruit stall, Mia's thoughts drifted to the implications of their day ahead. Would this be just a fleeting moment, or could it be the beginning of something more? "Do you have a favorite food?" Adrian asked, glancing at her as they walked. They considered. "I love street food. There is something about the flavors and the stories behind each dish that fascinates me." "Street food it is. I know a great little stand that serves the best empanadas," he replied, a spark of enthusiasm lighting up his face. "Sounds perfect," she said, her excitement building. And as they approached the stall, the aroma of spices and fresh dough wafted through the air, invigorating her senses. As they ordered, May couldn't help but steal glances at Adrian. He was animated, engaging with the vendor with a charismatic ease that made her smile. "Here you go," he said, handing her a freshly prepared empanada. "Perfect fuel for our adventure." Thanks, she said, taking a bite. The flavors burst in her mouth, a delightful combination that made her smile wider. This is amazing. Adrian grinned, satisfaction written all over his features. Told you. Now, where to next? Mia took a moment to savor the food, her heart fluttering as their eyes met. I am not sure. What do you have in mind? He leaned in slightly, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. I know a secret garden that not many people visit. It is quite peaceful. Secret garden? She echoed, intrigued. That sounds magical. It is, Adrian replied, his gaze intent. But I have to warn you, it might involve a bit of a hike. She chuckled. A little adventure never hurt anyone. Great, follow me, he said, and with a teasing wink, they started walking away from the market, their laughter mingling with the sounds of bustling people around them. As they ventured through the winding streets, the city slowly faded behind them, replaced by lush greenery and the sound of chirping birds. Mia felt a sense of freedom envelop her. I can't believe you know about this place, she said, glancing around in awe. It's just one of my little escapes, Adrian admitted, a hint of nostalgia in his voice. It is a perfect spot to recharge. They reached the entrance to the garden hidden behind a tall wrought iron gate, and with a gentle push, it creaked open. The sight before them was breathtaking verdant foliage, vibrant flowers, and a small pond shimmering under the sun's rays. Wow, Mia breathed, stepping inside. This is incredible. I am glad you like it. Adrian stepped in beside her, their arms brushing together. The air felt charged again, and Mia's heart raced as they wandered deeper into the garden. This feels like a different world, she said, her mind swirling with inspiration. I could write a whole story here. You should, he replied, his tone earnest. Capture the beauty of the moment, the feelings that come with it. As they settled on a wooden bench overlooking the pond, Mia felt a swell of emotions. Adrian, this day has been unlike any other, she confessed softly, her heart pounding. I am glad you think so, he replied, his gaze steady on her. I want to make it memorable. Their eyes locked, and the world around them faded into the background. The chemistry between them was palpable, and Mia felt a rush of daring as she leaned closer. What if I want to make it memorable too? Adrian's breath hitched, and he swallowed hard. Then we take the leap together, he said, his voice slow and inviting. The moment hung between them, thick with tension. Mia's heart raced as she leaned in, their faces inches apart. The doubt flickered through her mind as she hesitated, pulling back slightly. Is this too much? She whispered, her vulnerability laid bare. He reached out, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear, his touch sending shivers down her spine. No, it is perfect, Mia. It is just the right amount of chaos. In that instant, the walls around her heart began to crumble, but the fear of letting someone in held her back. But what if... Adrian cut her off gently. What ifs will always exist, it is what we choose to do with them that matters. Mia felt the rush of warmth at his words, the promise of adventure, of shared experiences, swaying her uncertainty. Okay, she said, her voice trembling slightly. Let us embrace this moment. Together, he affirmed, the intensity of his gaze igniting a spark within her. With a deep breath, she leaned back into him, their lips brushing in a tentative caress that sent waves of electricity through her. In that moment, all her doubts faded. It was just them, wrapped in the warmth of connection, the chaos of life swirling around them. A soft sigh escaped her lips as the kiss deepened, a sweet mingling of uncertainty and passion. Time felt suspended, the world outside forgotten. As they finally pulled away, breathless and wide-eyed, Mia's heart soared. Now that as a memory, Adrian whispered, a satisfied smile gracing his lips. Mia felt a smile bloom on her face, her heart racing. Definitely a story worth telling. And as they sat together, the garden enveloping them in its beauty, Mia realized the moment wasn't just a fleeting encounter. It felt like a turning point, a chapter marked by both uncertainty and promise. Do you come here often? Mia asked after a moment, her voice still slightly breathless from their kiss, trying to regain some semblance of composure. Adrian leaned back against the bench, his gaze reflecting the dappled sunlight filtering through the leaves. Not as often as I do like, but I always find it worth the trip. It is a perfect escape from the chaos of the city. Mia nodded, her heart fluttering at the thought that he had chosen to share this secret with her, as if they were somehow entwined in this moment. It really is beautiful. I can see why you love it here. He turned to her, the warmth in his eyes deepening. But it is not just the place, it is the company that truly makes it special. His admission made her pulse quicken, and she felt a shiver run through her at the weight of his words. Company can definitely make or break an experience, Mia replied, her tone light yet laced with sincerity. She was still trying to navigate the uncharted waters of her feelings for him. What about the stories you write? Do you think about the characters and their choices in terms of the company they keep? Adrian asked, his curiosity piqued. Absolutely, Mia said, feeling the conversation shift toward her comfort zone. Every character is shaped by their relationships, friends, lovers, even rivals. They add layers to the story. Adrian smiled, his gaze unwavering. So, the people around us matter. They influence our pasts, don't you think? Definitely, but she hesitated, unsure if she should express her doubts. What if the company you keep leads you to a dead end, or makes it harder to find your way? He nodded thoughtfully, absorbing her words. That is a fair concern, but sometimes dead ends can lead to unexpected turns. The key is to remain open to change. They admired his perspective, but the underlying fear in her heart tugged at her. And what if those unexpected turns lead to heartbreak? Adrian's expression softened, the playfulness giving way to seriousness. Heartbreak is part of life, Mia, but so is love. You have to risk one to gain the other. As the tension between them simmered, Mia felt the urge to retreat, her insecurities creeping back in. It's just that I've been hurt before. It makes it hard to trust what is happening between us. He reached over, his fingers lightly brushing against hers, igniting a flash of warmth. I get that, and I don't want this to feel like a woven romance that fizzles out. I want to be real with you. Mia's heart raced at his words, a mixture of hope and fear swelling inside her. But how can we know if it is real? We barely know each other. Maybe that is part of the adventure, he suggested, his tone lightening. We start here, in this beautiful garden, and see where it leads us. No expectations. No expectations, she echoed, the idea both thrilling and terrifying. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. Or a recipe for discovery, Adrian countered, his gaze steady. What is the worst that could happen? Some awkward moments, the little heartache. She couldn't help but chuckle. You make it sound so easy, but what if I am not ready for heartache again? Then let us take it slow, he proposed, squeezing her hand gently. Let us explore, have fun, and see where the journey takes us. If it leads somewhere beautiful, then it is all worth it. Mia felt the tension ease slightly, the warmth of his hand a grounding presence. Okay, she whispered, deciding to let go of her fears, if only for this moment. Let us explore together. Adrian's smile widened and he leaned in closer. Perfect, let us start with the game. I'll ask a question, and you have to answer honestly. Ready? Okay, hit me, she replied, intrigued. If you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you go? He asked, his gaze penetrating. Mia thought for a moment, picturing far-off places filled with stories. Paris. I've always dreamed of seeing the Eiffel Tower, sitting at a cafe, writing about love. Ah, the city of love, Adrian said, a teasing glint in his eyes. Are you looking for your very own Persian romance? Maybe, she admitted, feeling her cheeks warm. Or maybe just the inspiration that comes from a place steeped in history and passion. What is stopping you from going? He leaned back, resting his arms along the back of the bench, a gesture of relaxed confidence. Life, I guess, she said, her smile faltering. Writing doesn't exactly pay the bills, and I have responsibilities that keep me tethered. But what if you took a leap? What if you let yourself dream a little? He shifted, his intensity growing. You could spend the week in Paris and let the city ignite your creativity. Mia considered it, feeling the weight of his words. It sounds amazing, but what about the logistics, the planning? Overthinking again? He grinned, clearly enjoying her reaction. Just imagine it for a moment, the sights, the sounds, the flavors. I could almost taste the croissants, she said, half laughing. But what if it doesn't live up to my expectations? Adrian's eyes sparkled with mischief. Then you write about it. You captured your journey, the chaos of life, the joy of simply being there. It becomes another story. Another story, she echoed, feeling the excitement build within her. You really do believe in the magic of experiences, don't you? I do, he replied, his eyes never leaving hers. Life is meant to be lived fully, and you, Mia, should live a life filled with stories worth telling. Okay, your turn, she said, shifting the focus back to him, wanting to peel back the layers of his character. What is your dream destination? He paused, a shadow crossing his features for a brief moment. Ivy always wanted to see Japan, the culture, the food, the balance of tradition and modernity. It fascinates me. Japan, she mused, imagining the cherry blossoms, the bustling streets, and the serene temples. What draws you to it? It is the contrast, he explained, his voice deepening. The calmness of the temples against the chaos of the cities. It is a reminder that beauty can be found in the unexpected. Mia felt a pang of connection, understanding the yearning he expressed. And you think I'll find my own unexpected beauty in Paris? Absolutely, he replied, his voice steady. If you let yourself be open to it. A comfortable silence settled between them, the air thick with possibility. Me felt the urge to share more, to pull back the layers of her own heart. You know, I've always struggled with the idea of unpredictability. Why is that? Adrian asked, his curiosity piqued. Because I like control, she admitted, a hint of vulnerability slipping through. When I plan, I feel secure, but then I miss out on things like this. His expression softened, his thumb brushing gently over her knuckles. Sometimes it is the unplanned moments that teach us the most about ourselves. They help us grow. Me gazed at him, a mix of admiration and longing swirling within her. I wish I had your confidence. You do, he encouraged, leaning forward, his intensity grounding her. You just haven't discovered it yet. It is waiting for you to embrace it. Feeling the weight of his words, Mia took a deep breath. Okay, let us try it. Let us embrace this moment together. Together, he repeated, the sincerity in his voice making her heart race. As they sat there, the sunlight casting golden rays around them, Mia felt a shift inside. She wanted to let go of her fears and just be present. With Adrian, everything felt possible. Now, your turn to ask a question. She smiled, feeling bolder. All right, he said, leaning in closer. What is the most daring thing you've ever done? Mia hesitated, the memories flooding back. I took a solo trip to the coast once, just a weekend to clear my head. I hiked cliffs, watched the waves crash, and found a sense of freedom. That sounds exhilarating, he said, impressed. Why was it daring for you? Because I was terrified. It was just me, alone, in a new place, she confessed, her heart racing as she unveiled her vulnerability. But it also reminded me of what I am capable of. Adrian grinned, the warmth of his presence enveloping her. See, you have that adventurous spirit in you. You just need to let it out more. She chuckled, feeling a sense of lightness. I'll try to remember that. Good, he said softly. Now, let us make a pact. We'll both embrace our chaos and take more leaps together. Deal? Deal, she agreed, her heart swelling with emotion.